Hi guys, how are you all? Happy Pride Month. So, as a guest for our Pride Month, we are honored to have Sundeep, and I'm excited to meet with him. Before meeting with him, I just wanted to say that different isn't bad, guys. Just because you don't understand a concept doesn't mean it earns hatred. And this world is capable of being very mean to people from LGBT community. And just because you are different from someone based on creed, religion, sex, skin color, or sexual orientation, just means that you need to educate yourself to understand the differences. So let's educate ourselves. I'm excited to meet with Sandeep. Let's join him. I'm gonna send him an invite. And empathy is where it all starts, guys. So let's reach out to them with empathy, and don't do it because you're not doing anyone any favors, because you're not. Do it because it's what a decent human being does. Let's all be decent human beings. Let's look into ourselves and find that person there. Okay, and I still don't see him. Hey Sundeep, can you see us? Rashmi, hi, I see you there. Okay. Excited, guys. So, waiting for Sandeep. Rashmi, can you ask Urvi to check on him? I mean, I just spoke with him, but I don't see him on live, so it would be helpful. Okay, great. Rashmi says okay. She's gonna check what's up. Maybe it's a electronic glitch, guys. So are you all excited? What have you been doing for Pride Month? Hi! For whoever joined, hi. Hi Urvi, you joined too. I'm looking for Sandeep. Yeah, thank you for tagging him. I'm also looking for him. Any plans for the upcoming weekend? Urvi, Rashmi? Hi, this is Razy. She says hi. I am. I tried sending him an invite. He's not in the live, so she's not being listed. I can see you and Rashmi, Urvi, but I don't see him. I don't see no user available. Rashmi says she hasn't decided what to do. Hi, this is Razy. Okay, great. He's a guy, he says. So Uvi is sending him a message to join. Let me tag him too and see. I'm not sure, Rashmi. I don't know if he is following us back. I just spoke with him on video chat. I don't know why he's not at here. He was ready. Okay. It says let's wait, I guess. Ah, he's here. Hi.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Sorry, I don't know what was going on.
It's okay. That's okay. So, yeah, happy Pride Month.
Thank you. Happy Pride Month to you too.
Thank you. Thank you. So, um, thank you for being here with us. We really appreciate it. So, we just want to educate our audience out there. You know, the more the merrier. Whoever gets to know, tries to get to know the LGBTQ community, it's better, right? So, we are here to educate ourselves as well as everyone who needs to be educated. So, thank you for being here. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. I thought it was really sweet that you guys reached out. I know like with the time difference, it's really hard to kind of like coordinate, but I'm glad that we were able to.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So let's start with a basic question. So tell us about yourself. Where were you born, raised?
Yeah, so my name is Sundeep Singh Boparai. My pronouns are he, him, his. I am born and raised from Queens, New York. I'm actually from Jamaica, Queens. So I've been born here my whole life. My parents are both Sikh. They are from Punjab, India. They migrated here many, many years ago. So I'm first generation. So you know, it's a lot of barrier breaking as first generation people. A lot of education. So, yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for that. So the next question, let's just jump into it. So when did you first realize that you were queer?
So it's been like it was kind of like a up and down battle. I think I always kind of knew that I was queer. I remember, I don't know in India if you guys have like Blue's Clues or something. I remember like back in the day, like there's this show here where it was like Blue's Clues, and there was like this little kid, there was this guy Steven who would sit on the chair. I was like, oh, he's so cute, but I was like 4 or 5 years old, so I knew that something was different about me, but I always tried to suppress it because I didn't know what it was until I got older. But you know, I was bullied a lot, like growing up, a lot, like extremely bullied. So you know that like people would tell me that I'm gay. People would kind of tell me who I am as a person. So it was really hard for me to kind of internalize that. I think I kind of needed to kind of accept myself for myself first, instead of like letting people tell me like who I am. You know, people always made fun of like my mannerisms, like you know the way that I walked or I talked, like if I had a feminine voice, like people always had like a lot of negative connotations towards that. And so it kind of took me a while to kind of fully accept myself. But I think now at the age of 29, I've been fully able to accept myself. I've been able to kind of help and enable change too, in the work that I'm doing. So I'm really proud of where I am as a person and the growth that I have achieved.
I really admire you. You are the bravest souls. You know, those who have the courage to stand up to this world, who are very mean to people that are that are a little bit different from who they are. You know, that's they can't wrap their heads around something that they are not used to. And so, you leading your authentic, being your authentic self, is the bravest thing that you can do. So
Yeah,
thank you
thank
for being you.
it, it's hard. It's very hard. I have a platform and I have a queer family on there, and it is hard sometimes to still kind of be authentic. There are times where I want to like delete my Instagram, like if I get like hate or I get like tired of it, you know, like I'm just like, oh, this is so draining because sometimes like you're putting work out there, but people are not receiving it the way that you possibly would want them to. Sometimes like you get a lot of negative connotations towards the work that you're putting out. Um, but I've learned that the platform is bigger than me. The
Yeah.
platform for a lot of other folk that come there and want to see stuff, and you know, being Punjabi, being Sikh, being queer, there isn't a lot of representation. It's very limited. It's very, very little.
Yeah.
And so it's my obligation to the community
Right.
that
Right.
platform there,
Right.
and I keep the movement going because you know I don't want any little Sunny to feel isolated or alone. I want them to kind of go to my Instagram and be like, okay, like I'm not alone, like you know he did it so I can do it too.
The haters only succeed when they manage to suppress our voice. As long as we are voicing out our opinions, we are still winning. We are making a difference, Sandeep.
Yeah, definitely true. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, and we were talking a previous interview with Urvi of Desi Girl magazine. She had an interview with Amir, and Amir said something that was very profound. He said it in a matter of fact way, but it was very profound. He said it should not be coming out, but coming in. You know, it's you should coming out is a phrase that gives too much importance to the external world, but coming in, it's when you realize what you want and how you want to lead your life. So
Hmm.
would you mind sharing your coming in story, Sandeep?
Yeah, I actually don't like the coming out concept.
Yeah.
As a queer person, I think that it's really, really, there's a lot of issues with that Western concept.
Yeah.
As a queer person, I think that we always have to come out, like in our families, in our workplace, when we meet new people. And you know, heterosexual normative people don't have to do that. Like you don't have to explain yourself
Exactly.
that
Right.
I'm straight and I'm married to a man and I have children. You know, it's just normalized. My coming in story, I think, was when I met my ex-boyfriend
Mm-hmm.
at the time. I'm in a completely different relationship now, but I think when I saw that someone could love me and I saw that someone could appreciate me for who I was, in the beginning, you know, there was obviously a lot of issues, but what I'm basically trying to say is that in the beginning, like, you know, for a long time, I mean, even till this day, as a queer person, I mean, we struggle with a lot of insecurities. You know, there's a lot of trauma that we've been through, and so navigating those traumas and kind of into your and they trickle into your adult life if you don't take care of them. You know, so when someone is able to kind of like love you and appreciate you for who you are, I think that was when I was like, oh wow, like it's okay, like who I am, like it's fine, like if this is how I am, like I can do this, you know.
Right.
um and it kind of he he in a way helped me grow into the person that I am today. You know, in some weird way, um be more honest with myself. I was able to be more true with my family. I was able to show my family that two men can be in a loving, committed relationship. And I think even for my family, it was like eye opening, like, oh wow, like this can happen. Like this is something that that is not like my mom was always worried that how are you gonna how are two men gonna how can two men be in a relationship? And seeing that gender roles are not necessary and seeing that both people can be 50-50, still love each other, like you know, it's about the person, less about the genitalia. It's more about the person, you know. So I really think that's like that was more so my coming in. But it really wasn't until also when I started doing work in the LGBTQ sector. You know, I graduated with a master's in healthcare administration. I'm actually starting my doctorate program in a couple of months too in healthcare administration. And my goal had always been that I wanted to go down the LGBTQ healthcare path. Um, you know, I Googled one time when I was in grad school, like, how do I become an LGBTQ healthcare administrator? And there was no guidelines on how to do that. There was no like scripture on like how you can go about, you know, making that a goal. And so I feel like I manifested it for myself, and now I'm able to run like the first queer trans program on Long Island, and you know I'm able to do a lot of amazing work that I have been really proud of, and you know, been able to connect with so many like-minded queer people, that you know, queer people, we have so many similarities than we do differences. Growing up, we think that we're the only ones that are suffering, we're the only ones that are isolated, um, and then we grow up and then we meet all these amazing people and we're like their story is similar to ours, and it's like profound because then you feel a little less alone. You
Right.
understand that there's more people in the world that are also going through the same thing. And so that's why the platform is even more important, because it resonates not only with one identity, it can resonate with so many identities, you know. And I think like those two phases in my life were really my coming in process, and to really be able to fully accept myself for the person that I am today.
Right. Great. Awesome. That was beautiful. You are inspiring a lot of people just as you are speaking. You know, just for healthcare administration, you are the role model a lot of people are going to have. How did you get interested in modeling and healthcare administration?
Funny thing, so like I when I was little, I did some modeling. I did modeling for Teen Vogue when I was little. I was interested, like my family always be like, oh, like, you know, he's so lamba ucha, like, you know, like he's patala, like dubla patala, like, you know, he should do modeling, like, you know, he should do it, he can do it. So I did a little bit of it, but you know, my mom started to see that I was like really interested in it. So she was like, you need to focus in school. You need to focus on school because you need to have a backup plan, you know?
Right.
And my mom is a special ed teacher, and she has 3 masters, and she's an educator. So for her, education was very, very important. My older brother is an attorney. You know, I'm going back to school to get my doctorate. So those things are very important to my mom. And she instilled that in me and my brother. So I did do modeling. And then when I went to grad school, I was like, you know, one day I was sitting with my boyfriend and I was like, you know, like I don't really resonate with anyone on Instagram. Like, there's so many platforms on here, but none of them really like touch me, you know? And I was like, I don't see anyone that's like sick and queer, living their authentic life, really putting work out there, you know? It's really less about the fun modeling and the art and stuff, but what about the work on the floor, like the grassroots work that people need to do to push this movement forward, you know? And so he was like, you should do it. And I was like, no, I can't do that. Like, there's no way. Like, I was so scared. And so I had a friend who was a photographer, and he was like, yeah, like, let's take some pictures. And so we reached out to Turban Inc., and we reached out to Aware Causes, like 2 organizations. They were like, yeah, let's do something. We coordinated a shoot, and those pictures in like 2017 or 2018, I forgot what year it was. It went like semi-viral on Instagram, and at that time I didn't have a lot of followers, and all of a sudden, like in a week, my following was growing. People were like finding me, sending me messages. I was like, oh my god, like i think I think people, like, that was like the first time, I'm not sure if it was, but I think that was like the first time many people saw a queer Sikh, like, authentically on Instagram, like not giving a flying fuck, you know. And so I think that was really how people connected. And it was from there that my modeling agency found me. My LA-based modeling agency, they found me from Instagram. They connected with me. You know, I got signed to it. I got signed to them. I have an agent. And I started working with the magazine company, 360 Magazine. I'm now their brand ambassador. I do some work for them off, like, you know, on the side. So it kind of all connected, but I always wanted to stay true to my work. Modeling, magazine work, social media, digital, like, that's all fun. But like the grassroots work is what's really important to me. Being like providing HIV testing, providing visibility and representation, you know, for other South Asian people. Like, I'm an administrator at this center where we're doing this Instagram live, and many times South Asian individuals pass through here, and you know, they're not out, they're having risky behavior, they're acting on risky behaviors, and when they see someone like me working at this center, it kind of breaks a barrier for them. They're like, oh, you know, like, one of us is here too. And it starts a conversation. So it's very important that representation is there. And it's very important that visibility is there, because that way other people can then resonate and people can connect with it. You know, people will connect. And we've been able to get a lot of South Asian folk through the center that are queer, trans, non-binary. So I'm really proud of that as well.
That's nice. I mean, so what is the difference between being belonging to LGBT community in Southeast Asian communities and here in US?
So, you know, honestly, like what I've heard is from people, I don't know if this is correct or not.
Okay.
I've heard that India is more progressive because I've heard that our parents come to America, you know, and they're still really tied to their roots. They're still really holding on to those roots, and they want their children to really like focus on the roots. They don't want them to become modernized, westernized. You know, they want them to be, you know, Sick, you know, like get married, have children, do all of that stuff. And then back home, I hear like in India where people like parents are more okay with, you know, girls going out and people dating, and it's more westernized there. And then when you talk to parents here, they're like, oh yeah, they're following the American style. That's not how it's supposed to be. You know, this is the right way. And it's like if you're in India, you're following the Western style, and you're in America and you're following the backwards.
Indian style, yeah.
You know? So
Right.
both don't make any sense. To me, being queer and South Asian in America has been the most tumultuous, difficult process of my entire existence. Um, I was severely bullied and harassed in school. I used to wear a jura and have a patka. You know, I have really long hair, so I stayed true to my Sikhi roots. People used to call me Osama bin Laden. They used to say all these terrible things to me. They used to also like call me like slurs and names, like, you know, like being gay and stuff like that. So it was really traumatizing, you know, growing up here, especially during 9/11, when 9/11 happened in New York City. So it was really difficult. But I think now I've kind of been able to take those moments and not get triggered by them, but educate people, like take it as a moment to educate people and be like, listen, this is the right way. You know, this is the verbiage. This is how you should respect someone that is different from a different gender identity, different gender expression. And so I hone into to that, and I really try to amplify it, and I really try to use those moments to educate people, and try to make a difference in those people's perspectives when it comes to queer and trans folk.
That's a great work you're doing, Sandeep. Actually, educating people is the best way to go.
Mm-hmm.
What else can we do, right? And so, yeah, uh, how do you, how are you planning to use your platform to spread, you know, awareness and educate more people? Is there any future plan?
Um, Honestly, I never thought my platform, I never thought that I would have a platform the way that I have one. I never thought that. I I actually am surprised myself that so many people are interested in me and my life, and my story. But you know, I really, I this year I kind of switched the we kind of switched the logistics and operations of the platform. Before, it was really about Sundeep's story. It was about Sundeep's trauma, Sundeep's background, and what Sundeep went through, and how he persevered. And you know, now that I have a team behind me, I have a couple of people that are working on my platform with me. We've kind of made it about the community. Now that we have a platform, and you know, I'm privileged to say that I have a platform. Um, we're really focusing on the community and what the community needs, and it's really about educating our Sikh South Asian brothers and sisters, you know, if they're cisgender, heteronormative, heterosexual, you know. And it's also educating the older generations. I do have a lot of older folk that follow me too, and also like the really orthodox people from our communities, you know, to educate them. You know, I do get a lot of negativity. I do get a lot of pushback. I do get a lot of like really misogynistic and bigotry type of commentary. Before, it used to bother me. Now it doesn't. Now I kind of just let it sit there, because I think that it's more so about that person that's typing. It's about me. And so I think that it's okay. And I think that allowing those comments to stay there, people should see it, because that way people will know that there are people still out there that are hateful, that are going to discriminate, and that might even choose violence, you know? Just just this just this month, you know, the 28th trans person of experience was murdered in America, okay? And that is something that has not been highlighted on any digital platform. That's something that hasn't been discussed in mass media. That's something that hasn't been discussed globally. And what are we doing as a nation, as a community, to protect our trans brothers and sisters, to protect people that look different, you know? And so we need to be aware and vigilant that these types of crimes are happening. And so when people do these commentaries, they do need to stay there, so that way people can be held accountable for what they're saying. Um, and so I think that what I'm already doing with my platform, I'm gonna just continue to do. We have a lot of projects coming. We have some great, amazing collaborations that are coming. I'm super excited. I have some secret things that are coming I can't really share, but I'm really excited. I'm just waiting for the green light. Um, and I'm just really proud that I've created a huge queer family on my platform. You know, the biggest thing for me was that I felt alone for a long time. Like, it still makes me emotional when I think about it. Like, I just felt so alone and isolated that no one really like understood me. That, you know, I was just like this weirdo that everyone would call like a weirdo. Like, you know, and I was like, what's like, why am I this way? You know, like, why have I been built this way? And you always question that. And when I created the platform and I learned that there's so many people that also felt like weirdos, it made me feel like I was finally at home. Like, I don't think my family that I was born into is my family. I think that the family that is mine is my queer family. They're my chosen family, and I think that's where Vaiguru wants me to be in. I think that that's the focus that I need to be in, and I believe when people start resonating at the fact that I was Sikh and gay and openly authentic about my existence, I think people just related to that. They just thought that that was really, really amazing. And I think that's kind of like what started the trajectory of the platform. And I think that's kind of like what we're going to hone on, we're going to stay true to. At the same time, work on normalizing homosexuality within the South Asian diaspora. That's the main goal.
Right. I'm really sorry for whatever you went through, everything you went through, Sandeep. And for people who don't know how to be an ally to you, but they want to, so what would be the suggestions that you give?
Yeah, so I actually, that question that was sent over to me, I thought about it. I actually typed up some answers. So I'm going to speak on it because I think it's very important. Um, I think that straight people, the way that they can be a good ally is one, that they should know the history. They should know LGBTQ history. Um, 50 years ago, on June 28th, 1969, New York City police raided the Stonewall Inn, which was a gay bar in Greenwich Village in Manhattan. And that escalated to one of the most pivotal moments in LGBTQ history. And that's why we celebrate Pride today. Pride is celebrated because it was once a riot. It was because people wanted to be accepted and affirmed for who they were. And it was people like Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera, trans women of experience, that really pushed that movement and led that riot. And so we can't forget that. You know, we can't forget that. And I think I think straight people, they really need to understand that. The same way we learn about African American history, we learn about the Holocaust, you know, we learn about 1984, what happened to the Sikhs in India. It's the same way that we need to learn about the Stonewall history and the LGBTQ history, you know? The next thing I will say is that it's very important to show up and leave judgment at home. As straight people, stop judging people. Like, the best thing you can do is show up and participate. You know, everybody is equal. Everyone is a human being. At the end of the day, we all bleed red, you know, so that's very important.
Right.
Another thing that straight people can do is that they can support LGBTQ owned friendly businesses. There's a lot of small businesses that queer people are running, whether it be, you know, like a juice business, or whether it be a clothing store, or whatever it may be, support them, you know, give them that support. That's very important. If you do want to be an ally and you don't know how to go about it, you know, just go on the internet, Google your local queer community-based organization and be a volunteer with that organization. That way you can learn about what that organization is doing and how you can help them and support them and amplify the work that that organization is doing. Um, and I think that it's also important to understand the struggle and be ready to act. You know, it's still dangerous to come out. It's still very dangerous, and it's not entirely safe to be queer today. It's still not safe to be LGBTQ. You know, people are still being murdered and killed because of their gender identity and gender expression. So, you know, and even today, transgender rights are particularly under attack in this current political climate. So, to really help with change that, is that, you know, we should write to our senators, our representatives in Congress, tell them that we support the Equality Act. You know, allies are the bridge between the LGBTQ community and those who don't understand or seek to oppress it. Okay? Being an effective ally means putting in the work so those who might not know the struggles or understand the humanity of the LGBTQ community get a better idea, which also removes the toll of teaching from the marginalized community. So it's very important. An ally can be a bridge. So if you really are truly wanting to be an ally, do the homework. And then don't be afraid to ask questions. Be honest about your misgivings and misunderstandings. There is such diversity among the LGBTQ community in itself that even its members might not always understand everything, you know? So if you are an ally, you want to be an ally, don't be afraid to engage. There can be stigma to someone engaging, but whether it's friends or strangers, don't be afraid to respectfully reach out and be a part of it.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a lot of education you have given us. You have provided us with valuable points. Thank you so much, Sandeep, for that. And do you have any final message you want to get out there to this world?
I think the message that I would like everyone to take away is that, you know, everyone should work together. I think whether you're an ally, whether you are queer, whether you are, you know, whatever you identify as, I think it's better to work with love than with hate. I think um a lot of things happen seamlessly when we do things with more love and compassion and kindness. And so if everyone can work together to normalize homosexuality within the South Asian diaspora by educating ourselves this Pride Month, you know, and then reinforcing that education within our own networks to spread awareness is the best way. So if anyone is on this live today or is going to watch this live later, you know, if you're an ally and, you know, if you don't know anything about Pride, anything about what it means to be queer, just learn one fact. Learn one fact about it this Pride Month, okay? And then go to your friends, go to your family, maybe your job, reinforce it, talk about it, discuss it, have conversations on it. That's the best way we break barriers, when we have unconventional conversations. And I think it is very essential that we all work towards normalizing this, because the youth and generations to come will only benefit from it. And hopefully they'll be able to live in a more just and fair world. Because right now we don't live in that type of world. And so hopefully one day we can, and hopefully our trans brothers and sisters, our intersex brothers and sisters, they can live in a safe world as well and feel loved and feel needed and wanted. Because it's very important for everyone that's queer, trans, and non-binary to know that they're magical, that they're magical people. You know, I always tell my queer brothers and sisters and siblings, it's that, like, we are a rare anomaly. Okay, when we were growing up, people bullied us and people picked on us is because they didn't understand who we were. They didn't have the deep thought on what does this mean. They were All these people, they think on the surface. Everyone has surface thinking, okay? And so in order for you to truly understand, it takes a lot of courage and understanding from an ally or a cisgender person. But a lot of times as queer people, we feel like we're not loved, that we feel that we don't belong in spaces when we do. And I want everyone that's queer and trans and non-binary to know that you better wake up every single day, look in the mirror, and tell yourself that you're beautiful. You give yourself positive affirmations. You go interview for that job you want to, whether you're scared that they're gonna turn you away because of how you look. You break that change. You enable it. You do something different. You make people want to have those conversations. And what we need to realize is that when more of us do it, when more queer Sikhs come out, when more queer Indians come out, when more trans people come out that are South Asian, we start to show more representation. So that way, younger children and other people that don't understand will have to learn about what it means to be queer, trans, and non-binary. They'll have to learn it. There won't be any other option. So that's why it's important that people do need to come out. They do need to live their authentic selves, and they do need to show that representation. I know it's scary. I know it's very scary, and it's dangerous. And I wouldn't want anyone to be forced to do anything that they don't want to do. But we should understand that it is important that we do that. So that way we can help the next generation that's coming up so they see that representation.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Sandeep. Thank you for your time today. And it was wonderful talking to you. Thank you for educating us.
Me. Yay.
Bye, Sundeep. Thank you.
Bye. Take care.
You too.